Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to the Ellen Street campus. I'm Linda Mora. I'm the principal at Ellen Street campus, and I am the Early Childhood Director for the World of Wonder programs. And the programs we have at Ellen Street are listed here. We have the preschool program, Young Fives, the special ed early childhood programs, child care, and parent-child play groups. I now am wearing my mask so that we can remind all of us that we're going to be wearing masks some of the time in order to be safe, and that's one of our safety protocols during this time. At this time I'm going to take it off though, so I think you can hear me clear. That will be a little bit better, and since we're outside, that'll be one of the things that we will be doing as while children are outside. We'll definitely have protocols in place for children to take mask breaks and take their masks off. We will also have that in the classroom. We know that our young ones will have more issues possibly with masks. And then of course when we're eating or we need a break or outside, we'll be taking those masks off. Okay, this is our main office at the Ellen Street campus or World of Wonder. And I'd like to introduce two important people. We have, stand up, we have Miss Amber Brown, and Amber is our office manager or school secretary, and so a very important person here, and she's the one that parents would deal with for childcare, for really anything to do with needs in the office. If they need support, they would come and see Miss Amber. And then we have Mr. James. Mr. James is our lead caregiver for the child care programs, and he also kind of helps out with our noon aid, and very important person that the kids will get used to knowing. This is just where you come in and go through. Now we don't have parents have that ability to do that, but this is where we would come into our school. Our school mascot is the turtle Franklin, who's been, Mrs. Mora's had Franklin for over 30 years. So he is a favorite of the children, and we also have the fish. So this is kind of just the entryway when you first come in the building. This is what I would call the school hallway, because this is the programs that are part of our elementary program. We would have our Young Fives classrooms here, and our special ed classrooms on the other side. Thought maybe we'd stop and take a peek at this. This is an example of a project. We follow a Reggio Emilia philosophy at Ellen Street. Many of you have probably never heard of Reggio Emilia. Reggio Emilia is actually a town in Italy, but the philosophy is really based on children being competent, capable, and creative with a curriculum built around the child. So we like to take time to do project-based learning. So this is a good example of a project. This class was very interested in construction, and so they ended up studying all forms of construction and ended up making a collage with caps. The teacher has captured key moments of the project in photos, and she's also captured words of the children during the project. So we kind of like to leave this up in the showcase, so as parents who are curious about the philosophy have an example of how it's documented. There's documentation of the project, and it's an example of project-based learning in a Reggio-inspired program. So this is one of our Young Fives classrooms. This is Mrs. Napier's. I know she's probably not quite ready, so I'm showing her room before it's all, but this gives you a sample of what a Young Fives classroom, how big it is, the different areas in the room, the technology, all the different areas, play areas. Play is a very important part of our early childhood program, and so we do give children significant amounts of time to learn through play. So we're stopping in what used to be the main office in this building when it was a high school and a middle school, maybe even when it was an elementary years ago, but it is now the special ed office for the district. So families that need to interact and have special ed connections with the special ed office in the district would come here to this building, and this is where special ed office is located and where our auxiliary staff for special ed are across the hall in their offices. So this is an example of one of our GSRP classrooms. GSRP stands for the Great Start Readiness Program. It's a free preschool for 4-year-olds who qualify. We have 60 slots for GSRP this year. We're running 3 full-day classes with a limit of 16 in each classroom and a half-day AM class with 12. Some of those students have chosen virtual, and some of those students have chosen face-to-face. The virtual students will have the option of returning at any point they would like to with some notice to the teacher, but we are on the west end of the building right now, and you can see the room is still being set up, but they are also great spaces for early childhood with lots of rooms for children to play, interact, and use materials. So this is Ellen Street's art studio, the Atelier in Italian. And we use this for basically the young fives classrooms will come here for their art. This year with COVID, we're running our specials classes on consecutive days for 3-week cycles. So we have 3 young fives classrooms. Each class will attend 3 weeks of each art, and then 3 weeks of music, and then 3 weeks of PE. So when your students would have art, if you're a young fives student and you would have art, you would come to the art studio, and for 3 weeks they'll have art, and then they'll shift to another special. So now we're in the half-day GSRP classroom. This classroom's only morning, so they'll be in session from 8:15 to 11:30, I believe. And this is a classroom, again, that will run the GSRP programming. It's set up early childhood, lots of materials. One thing that all of the classrooms are going to be using this year that'll make it nice is that each child has one of these little caddies that will be able to be used indoors, outdoors. Their materials, their crayons, their scissors, their glue. It has a pocket that their mask can be put in, a water bottle. It can be used inside or outside. There's room inside, the Play-Doh. So we're really trying to keep their materials individually sorted. And we also have these shoe bags. And these shoe bags, each different from the elementaries that are using lanyards for their masks. With the little ones, we're going to be letting them put their mask in these pockets. Definitely when we go outside, this will be taken outside, and at meal times. They'll be able to have a special pocket to put their mask in to keep it clean, sanitized, and separate from everybody else's. In the Ellen Street campus's library or media center, and you can see we have lots of great collection of books. They're all sorted by topic, sometimes by author, and they're in individual tubs. At this point, we're working on a plan of whether we may not come into the library, but the beauty of the way our library is set up is that teachers could come in and take tubs of books to their classroom and still give children that opportunity to take a book home, have plenty of opportunities for reading. A big campaign at Ellen Street is this Read Early, Read Often. Working on this with Linden schools as well, and we really want to get the message to parents that read early, read often, your child's success depends on it. And really it's as simple as that. If parents read to their children from the early age, babies and toddlers, that those who have been read to will often have heard as many as 30 million more words than children who aren't read to. So we're really encouraging families when those library books come home, with the books you have at home, to read early, read often, because your child's success really does depend on it. Center still, but I thought I'd take a pause to point out we do have a poster that we have done up that says "Nothing without joy." Nothing without joy is one of the quotes of Loris Malaguzzi, who is the founder of the Reggio Emilia philosophy, and really believe that children learning should be joyful, and that everything we do should include, not that hard work and sometimes struggles can not still be hard and struggles, but that the component of joy should always be present in what we do with children. Very lucky last year, we had a generous donor who provided these wonderful STEAM, and for those of you who are not familiar with STEAM, STEAM is science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics materials, so that children have a maker space, and children can use these to be very inventive and create things and do all kinds of creative interesting things with these loose parts, what we would call loose parts. So we have that station here. It is on wheels. It can be taken to classrooms, and of course this year we'll have to be a little bit more careful with how we're sanitizing in between uses. When I do a tour, I usually stop and take a moment to point out that something that's a little bit different at Ellen Street is that every one of our staff members takes on a research project for their own growth. So different than when a Reggio Emilia philosophy is based on research, so we're always researching children and what's best for children and what children are interested. This specifically is geared to the staff and what they're interested in growing in and what aspect of their practice they want to develop and become stronger in, or possibly an issue that's appearing in their classroom that they want to try to solve. So we have all of these research projects from a year previous. We didn't last year get to do our research projects, but hopefully this year we will. And every teacher has, or staff person has chosen a topic and then researched it for the year, and then at the end of the year given out their findings on what their research, shared their findings with other staff in the building. So it's a powerful thing. It's one of the most powerful ways to do professional development for our staff members. This is Ellen Street's cafeteria. So this year, with only one grade eating lunch in the cafeteria, we'll be separating each class. They'll each have 3 tables. We'll make sure that their tables are distanced from the other classes so that those cohorts, each class is a cohort of children, will not be mixing with the other students. And in that way, we think we can still safely have lunch in the cafeteria and give children that opportunity to eat. And we'll go outside first. At Ellen Street, we go outside for recess first, let them play, come in, visit the bathrooms, wash our hands well, and then come in and have lunch. After lunch, they'll wash their hands or use the sanitizer before they go back into their classrooms. So this is Ellen Street's music room, but it's more than just a music room. It's used for music for young 5s, and so when we're on that 3-week rotation, young 5 students will come to music for 3 weeks at a time before they switch to their next special. But this classroom is used from our parent-child groups for music as well. Preschool classrooms have a time to check out this room and come in and do music. But we also use this as another STEAM class place. So over on this side, we have a xylophone made out of PVC piping. We have a station where we're building a music wall, but in the back here, we have materials that can be used to study physics, movement, force and motion, and the kids can lay those out in this big room and use them and have room and space to do that. So this is Ellen Street's gymnasium, and we are super fortunate to have a high school-sized gymnasium, so it's huge. What we are planning to do, though, is probably at this point take the wall across and divide it into 2 smaller gymnasiums. That'll give us more space to utilize for cohorts of children to be in the gymnasium at the same time. This is our main space for childcare. So besides being out on the playground, our childcare students arrive in the morning as early as 6 a.m. and they'll come here, be separated by schools this year. So we'll separate our children into cohorts depending on what building they attend. And we won't put up walls, but we'll try to make sure there's some distancing occurring so that the children are really interacting with the children from their own school. We're also going to divide our space up on the stage that allows more like a classroom space with Legos and blocks and place to do homework into more than one area so that we can rotate kids that'll have an opportunity to go up and do things there as well as, of course, as well as on the playground. So this was where we took in all of our child care and preschool, early childhood drop-offs, pickups, arrivals with a keypad. This year, of course, we're very much limiting adults, or parents, I should say, going into the building. So this will be the place parents will still come. There'll be one of our staff members inside who will be checking temperatures as child care students arrive, making sure that temperature is under that 100.4 that it needs to be. Parents will take the COVID survey, and then students will be allowed to come in, but we will have parents not come into the building. So the in between the 2 doors is where I think we'll have that happen. So you'll get in through the first set of doors, and then say goodbye to your student, and then your student will come into the gymnasium for child care. Preschool, we've always started our preschool days outside on the playground. And so we will be having GSRP monitor kids coming in with their temperatures being taken at curbside. and the GSRP students will then come out and do their outdoor time first in the morning. Same with our tuition preschool. We will have staff monitoring the arrival of students when they arrive, when they pull up on the curb, and then those students will be allowed to go out and play on the playground to start their day, and then after they are out on the playground, come in again, visit the bathrooms, wash their hands well before they ever enter the classrooms on the inside. So we're standing now in the hallway outside the east end of the building, which is our tuition preschool classrooms, and we're hoping we have a whole lot more preschool families join us. We do have a few signed up for our half day. This year we're running Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday from 9 to 11:30, what I would call our traditional preschool. And then we have Wonderway. And Wonderway is our classroom that's open from 9 till 3:30 every day. And it's flexible as far as what days you choose and what times you choose. So our most flexible preschool classroom is Wonderway classroom. And then we do provide wraparound care for all of our programs if parents need care before or after their preschool session. The wall behind me is where our speech pathologist is. So we are very fortunate at Ellen Street to have Miss Hodge, who is a speech pathologist who specializes with early childhood children. So now we're standing on Ellen Street's wonderful playground, and we're very fortunate to have a natural playscape. So many areas are really set up to look and replicate the environment you would find in Michigan in some way. Like we have a dry riverbed, there's a boat, a lot of the native plants and grasses, there's hills and sandbox areas for children to play. So this year, a little bit what's going to be different is that we will be defining the playground into areas so that cohorts of children are separated from other cohorts. This is a big area, so we'll be able to have more than one group out here, but there'll be a clear defined boundary so that the classes will stay separated on. We'll also utilize the little playground a little bit more and are planning to use this grass area up next to the gym wall or to the gym hallway as another area for play in the morning. So to be safe, keeping kids separate even when they're outdoors, which is the safest place to be. Also, I should note at this time that we are encouraging our teachers to do as much of their day outside while this weather is conducive to being outside, because we know being outside is the safest place you can be at overall, and we feel that a lot of what we do with children at this age can be done really well by playing and being outside. So next we're in our early childhood special education kindergarten room, and so thought we'd stop by and just take a peek and how it's set up just for a very specialized program. And this is Mrs. Thomas, Mrs. Heather Thomas. She happens to be here, so we'll introduce, and there she's being safe with her mask, and there we can see her without her mask. So I thought I'd take a moment to say that the children at Ellen Street are referred to as our Wonder Kids, and we have a special wave that children will learn when they come. We make a W for WOW and for World of Wonder, and we have our secret wave. I try to really convey to the children that we consider them our superheroes and that they have superpowers. And while we're at World of Wonder, we really want to practice our superpowers. The first one is a good one for now, be safe. And the number one thing that as a principal and as a teacher, our job is to keep children safe. So we convey to the children that their job is to help us keep it safe. Our second, we call them the big rules. Second big rule is to be respectful. We explain to children that being respectful is treating people like they matter, because everyone matters. So the people, our teachers, our friends, our moms and dads, they are all people that matter, and we will treat them with respect. Our third big rule is to be responsible, which for children is a big word. So we really explain that to the children, that when you have a problem, you don't know what to do, follow Winnie the Pooh and think, think, think. And if you think about it, we believe children always know what's the right thing to do, and doing the right thing is being responsible. And then our fourth rule, big rule we added, is just to be kind, and that if everyone is kind and is caring, that our school will run very well, and that when children practice those superpowers, they will grow to be superhuman beings. So we always say, Wonder Kids to the rescue. Okay. So just like we talked about arrival, dismissal for every program will have a separate set of procedures. We talked about a little bit that the GSRP children will be coming curbside and being picked up in their cars. When they leave, they will be also sent out to their cars. Their parents will have a sign with their name of their child on it, and they will be dismissed to their car where their parent is standing and waiting. For our young fives families, however, the parents have always parked in the parking lot and then come up to get their child. So this year we've added the orange tiger paws, and we're asking that parents stand on an orange tiger paw, come up, make their way. They'll be in line all the way back to the parking lot and just move on up like you're at the post office. And when it's your turn, you'll say your child's name. Teacher has a microphone, your child will be called, and they will come out to you, and you will return out to the parking lot in your car. It will be important that parents for young fives in the morning and in the evening, in that pickup time, use the parking lot and not the parking loop, because the parking loop will have other groups that are actually lining up and will be lined up to pick up children. So that will be very important. Our tuition children will be picked up similarly by parents parking in the parking lot, coming up to the building towards the gym doors, and using the tiger paws to safely distance while they wait for their child to come out. So that's kind of it. That kind of walks you through our school day from the beginning to the end and lets you see the different rooms in our building. Sure wish you could come in. Hopefully that day will be here soon. But just know that we'll be taking really good care of our Wonder Kids while they're with us. And what I have tried to convey to everyone is that I do not believe in all my years of doing early childhood that there's any creature on the planet more adaptable, more resilient, or more intelligent than the child. And I have found that there is no one more caring or creative than the early childhood teacher. So together, caring, creative teachers with resilient, adaptable, intelligent children, I think we're going to do just fine. So thank you, and looking forward. If you need to get a hold of me at any time, feel free to call my office. 591-8349 gets the secretary, Miss Amber, and she will direct your calls to me, or email me at lmora@fentonschools.org. Thanks. Give you the Wonder Wave.